ප්‍රයොරිටි බේසිස් එකේ දාලා ඩෙඩ්ලයින් එකක් දෙන්න මේකට නේ. නැත්නම් තේරුමක් නැහැ නේ චෑමන් කියන එක ඒක ඇත්ත. දැන් එක්කෙනෙක් ඇප්ලයි කරන්න ගියා නම් එයා අහනවා මම මොකක් හරි වැරදක් කළා නම් පෙනල්ටි එක කොතනද තියෙන්නේ කියලා. ඒක නැත්නම්
I'll submit you the status report of all these regulations. We have actually gone through everything.
Yeah.
So by first quarter, all the necessary regulations other than to management of the city.
Yeah.
Management of the city, there are few set of regulations, but there's nothing to manage at the moment. Those regulations will be delayed, but the rest of it will come before first quarter.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, let's
Cha,
go
if
to
you
the
permit,
next.
just couple to that. Now let's say penalty isn't contested. You are imposing $50,000 or whatever, $100,000. It's been contested. Which court does hear this?
So, sir, under the Act, port city matters are held on a priority basis in a dedicated court that is already provided in the Act. So we are in discussion with the Ministry of Justice to have a court dedicated to hear.
So parallelly there are a lot of things happening, no?
Yes.
Otherwise one wheel stop means the whole machine can stop.
So it's being fast tracked, so we will have a magistrate's court.
You know the thing here, honorable member, is will there be international sort of jurisdiction on this? Right. Now if you look at Dubai, Dubai has a certain legal structure, but DIFC is not subjected to those Dubai laws. So I think it is British English law that applies.
London commercial courts.
Yeah, completely.
So this was there in the. So this was there in the original act, but when it goes through the process, most of the conditions related to this was taken.
That's a can of
hypothetically, touch wood, bad luck should not come upon us. A investor who is saying, no, I will not pay you. Come to London commercial court and meet me. What are we going to do? We don't have...
සභාපතිතුමා මේක ගැන මේ කලිනුත් මම ක්වෙස්චන් එකක් මතු කරා මේ විජේදාස රාජපක්ෂ මහත්මයාට. එතකොට දැන්ට මේ වගේ ප්‍රශ්න සම්බන්ධ විසඳන්න කමර්ෂල් හයි කෝට් එක දාලා දැන්ට ට්‍රයල් 10000ක් යනවා. එතකොට ඒකම අපිට ease of doing business වල නෙගටිව් පොයින්ට් එකක් වෙලා තියෙනවා.
ඒ නිසා තමයි මේකේ මන්ත්‍රීතුමා කියලා තියෙන්නේ වෙනම කෝට් එකක් දාන්න කියලා.
ඒකත් දැනට අපි එහෙම මේ මොකක්ද ප්‍රොපෝස් කරන්න ඕනේ. කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ එහෙම නැතුව අපේ දැනට තියෙන DC matters ගත්තොත් හයි කෝට් දැන් කමර්ෂල් හයි කෝට්ස් ගත්තොත් මේක නිසාම අපේ රටට ඉන්වෙස්ටර්ස්ලා එන්නේ නැති බෑඩ් ඇට්‍රැක්ෂන් එකක් වෙලා තියෙනවා. already ඉතින්
ඉන්ටර්නැෂනල් ආබිට්‍රේෂන් සෙන්ටර් එකක් තියෙනව නේද?
නෑ ඒකත් අපි බැලුවා. ඒකත් දැන්ට ඩිසෝල්ව් කරලා ඒකේ බඩු ටික
නෙමෙයි අපි මෙතන සෙට් අප් කරන්න යනවා ඒකත්
දැනට තියෙනවනේ.
But it's only for arbitration. But when it comes to legal action, it's the dedicated commercial court, especially for Port City. But I don't know how the process will go on and have a special court.
දැන් World Trade Center එකේ තියෙන arbitration center එකක් තියෙනවනේ.
ඒක දැන් almost close. We are going to
ඒක තමයි දැන් ඒගොල්ලෝ ඒක තමයි ගිය සතිය අපි ඒක ගැන කතා කරා අපේ කමිටි එකේ. ඉතින් ඒකත් තවම ඩිසයිඩ් කරලා නැහැ මොකද්ද කරන්න කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ එතන ඉන්ෆ්‍රාස්ට්‍රක්චර් එක හදලා අවුරුදු ගාණක් රෙන්ට් එක ගෙවලා කිසිම
අධිසුකෝපභෝගී.
ඔව්. ඒක ලන්ඩන් වලත් නැහැ කියලා කියන්නේ ඒ වගේ එකක්.
AG office, I mean, with permission of the chair, what would be your suggestion to them? Because they have an arbitratory body, but legal implementation is not in their hand. But at least this arbitration body can be strengthened and say, okay, we have 2 containers and there are 3 fellows seated here. Any point, please visit them. But if it's going beyond that point, then legal entities. But I think this is a serious area. You all have to work parallelly and get your. What would be your suggestion, AG?
National Commercial Dispute Resolution Center under Section 62.
Yes.
And then it says under Section 63 that priority to be given where legal action is in. So that is the only recourse here.
So who would determine priority?
So by operation of law, the courts.
So everything else pushed back. If there is a Colombo Port City matter comes to court, then that has to be taken up first, is it?
Appears to be so. In
Spirit
whatever
of
it says, priority shall be given by courts in relation to that.
එහෙම ක්‍රමයක් නෑ. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ කේසස් ෆයිල් කරන විදියට නෙන්නේ. නමුත් මේකට
මෙතන කියනවා ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ නීතිය යටතේ විශේෂ වරප්‍රසාදයක් දෙන්න කියලා ප්‍රමුඛතා කරන්නේ.
එහෙම කරන්න බෑ. එහෙම වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක නිසා මේක
වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
ඩෙඩිකේටඩ් කෝට් එකක් කෝට්ස් මොන හරි
Ideally
තමයි
dedicated
කරන්න කියලා සජෙස්ට් කරේ. මේක අපි මෙන්න ලොකුට කතා කරා මේ මැටර් එක ගැන. ඒකෙදි ඩිපාර්ට්මන්ට් එකේ කවුරු හරි සම්බන්ධ වුණා. ඒ කියන්නේ එහෙම නැතුව දැන් ඊට පස්සේ මේ ලෝයර්ස්ලා කවුරුත් කැමති වෙන්නේ නැහැ මේ කේසස් ෆයිල් කරන ඩේට් එකට ෆයිල් ඉන් විදියට නේ. cases ahane.
No, even when we suggested that as it is a day-to-day basis, lawyers are not, the private bar is not agreeable. Not just with this
prioritizing
law,
this.
but generally day-to-day trials are not.
Then the best thing is you to have your special courts maybe inside the port city.
Dedicated courts.
You know, that is the ideal situation
But
to go.
when we go into
Otherwise,
this
no
issue
point,
of
waste of
judicial
time, people
power
are not
and
coming.
Article 3-4,
They are
that
not
was
coming.
what we were trying to avoid. Try to explain to court, because otherwise we would have had to go for a referendum if someone argued that this judicial power is going to be restricted of the.
ඔන්න මෙතන ගරු මන්ත්‍රීතුමා
අපි සජෙෂන් එකක් දාලා වෙනම
right.
අපි කන්සල්ටේට්
ඔබතුමාගේ කමිටු එකෙන් අපිට එකක් එවන්නකො. දැන් මොකද මං හිතන්නේ මෙතන තියෙන එක වැදගත් කාරණාවක් තමයි ජාත්‍යන්තර ආයෝජකයෙක්ට විශ්වාසයක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ නීතිය සාධාරණව ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා කියලා. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා තමයි ඩුබායි වාගේ රටවල් මේ ඉංග්‍රීසි බ්‍රිටිෂ් ලෝ එක යටතේ ක්‍රියාත්මක. ඉතින් ලංකාවේ මේක කරන්න බෑනේ.
ඔබතුමා දැන් බලන කොළඹ ඩිස්ට්‍රික්ට් කෝට් අද මේ මොහොතේ ඉන්වෙස්ටර්ස්ලා බිස්නස්මන්ලා කී දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවද කොළඹ ඩිස්ට්‍රික්ට් කෝට්ස් වල මේ වෙන විට අද දවසේ ඒක ලොකු බෑඩ් ප්‍රැක්ටිස්.
I mean, what honorable member is raising is a very important matter. So I think, we will monitor your progress. So next time you come for regulations, you better tell us if there is any better.
Beyond our we can propose, but government, we can
Suggested-
propose.
take case studies from countries which are very close to Sri Lanka. Singapore is a city state and it has its own culture and all that. If you take that, it has never had strong trade unions. But this country we have
මෙතන මං හිතන්නේ
already. He being a liberal economist, he is worried about the market competition. You know what it means? He's concerned about it.
No,
because the nature of.
I'm a social market economist.
Okay.
So just 1 minute. So there are two things I believe in. One is market liberalism.
Right,
which
we
means-
will have lunch
wait,
over
wait,
that.
wait,
Okay,
wait. Since you made the comment, that is, individual freedoms, markets, competition. Other one is political liberalism, which is social equity and justice. So if you want to develop this country, both these things have to come together. So that's the way I look at things. Thank you very much. So
Chairman.
we have to move on.
Chairman,
Just one moment. Yes, honorable member.
Chairman, I'm so happy that we have learned something from yesterday's evening.
I explained that to those people yesterday. Yes, go
Just
ahead.
one point, we have also approached the International Chamber of Commerce to see whether we could get them to set up a branch in Colombo so that some of these disputes can be resolved through them, because it's much more effective
No,
and
I mean,
faster.
so alternate dispute resolution is something that, and we don't need to, we know the importance of that, right? So there has to be confidence in the legal system. That's all. No? As long as that's there, then it's okay. So shall we move to those are all the questions, specific questions that we have done the regulations in that gazette. There's a second gazette. We have one or two questions. One question. The second gazette is on the fees, right? The gazette provides regulations for registering and licensing fees for persons authorized to conduct business within the port city. Types of fees: application fee $2,500, alteration of information submitters $100, annual fee $2,000, fees for extracts $100. The question is, how do these fees compare with fees taken by SECs in other countries? Are these rates comparative? Refer to section 3. So we have looked at some others. I can't find section 3. Application instructions state that until the electronic system is made available, application and supporting documents have to be submitted manually. How long will it take for electronic system to be made available? This will directly affect ease of doing business. Will information be digitized on a centralized information system? So, yes, please.
Yeah, so on the point of the fees, Chairman and other members, again, we come down to the benchmark jurisdictions, right? When you look at DIFC and DMCC, which as you all rightly pointed out earlier, these are the key zones we need to look at. These fees, they initially charge about approximately $200 for name reservation, as we call it there. And then the company incorporation and licensing fees would range from anywhere between $1,700 in the case of DIFC to about $8,000 US. In Dubai Multi-Commodity Exchange, it can go average approximately $12,000, right? We have strategically priced our point lower than that, with the interest of understanding and being aware that DIFC and DMCC are institutions or special economic zones that have been in operation for nearly 2 decades now, right? And they are sort of what we would call mature markets or mature zones. So we have sort of priced ourselves slightly lower than that. I've also known your Schedule 3 talks about certain countries, Bangladesh, India, Indonesia, etc., Oman as well. I've just quickly glanced at that. And we would compare the benchmark jurisdictions of Mauritius and Singapore were the other 2 benchmark jurisdictions. And yes, I think some members are looking at the presentation. There is a slide on this. These countries, of course, they sort of range from about $200 upwards for setting up a company and registering a company. Our fees of $2,500 is slightly higher than that. But as the chairman mentioned, those are countries as opposed to special economic zones. And that's why our fee point is slightly higher than that.
It's just a question. I mean, if you looked
No,
at
I
it
think
and you are
they
satisfied
had
with
looked at
this.
it and then you all can share your findings, no? Our research team?
They have
They
already
got
been
it, so
given.
you can also,
This one.
I don't know, I normally go by the independent indicators who award internationally what are the best ports. So if you look at them last 5 years, what they have done and what they have omitted, we have a learning curve there. I think it is published already, if you don't want to pay. Now, one thing I just want to clarify myself here, now the Commission's initial operational fund, the 400 million or whatever the number, was supposed to be set aside, but then we didn't have money. The project company advanced that to you all. And then you all repaid it.
According to the Act,
Yes.
Act itself defined the initial investment value by
That's
the
right.
project company, and it
Okay.
says they can deduct everything before they pay the rest of it.
Right, right.
So it's so that is what we
Yeah,
did.
so now let's say we are taking off. Where will you get your money if there are no application whatsoever? I know all of you all are working voluntarily. Thank you very much. In a situation where country is experiencing extreme migration, you all are staying back because you have interest and to develop this country. Thank you. But then you can't do charity every day. What is the alternative method? Other than borrowing from a local bank or going after the treasury, how will you survive?
We
What's your
actually
scenario plan?
we actually have 2 other models as well. So there's a duty free to come in. So
Okay.
and there you get a top line revenue,
Right.
not bottom line. It's a top line revenue.
Right.
At the moment also we have certain applications to be processed. So and there are few investment also to be happen. So I think for this year we have money to operate throughout the year. So within this
Because
year.
you work voluntarily for your remuneration, but you had to drive your car, you had to have a rent and a place.
We don't take anything at the moment.
මට දැන් බයයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ එහෙම වැඩ කරද්දි. මොකුත්ම ගන්න නැතුව වැඩ කරද්දි ටිකක් බය වෙන්න ඕනේ.
We were looking for a sort of a input from the Aegis department earlier. Is now the ownership of the commission is with the state. This is fully so in terms of the interpretation of a body corporate according to the constitution, right? So the Colombo Port City Commission is a corporate body owned 100% by who? The
government.
sovereign?
Sovereign government.
That is what it is. Yeah. So there are no other shareholders of this. It's completely owned.
That's how the account is reflected. Basically, government of Sri Lanka enterprise. Equity is only government.
No,
of Sri
why is it partly? This is a fully state-owned entity.
Fully,
Fully, 100%.
Government of Sri Lanka is equity.
100%.
volunteer කරනවානේ. අර ක්ලාස් එක තියෙනවා 3:20.
මේ can I
එතකොට ඔගලන් ගන්න තීරණ වලට පස්සේ කෙනෙක් කියන්න පුළුවන්ද AG office අපි volunteer වැඩ කළේ මෙතන අපේ පෙට්‍රල් ගහගෙන මේ වැඩේ කළේ ඒක නිසා මේ වැරදි වලට කිසි දෙයකට අපි වාක්‍යයක් නැහැ.
එහෙම කියන්න බෑ. You can't say that.
So those are the two specific sets of questions we had.
Yes.
Then we have some other general questions. It'll take maybe half an hour or so. We go through this, right? So in the in section 4, clause 4 of the act. Before we go to that, section 2(4). The Commission shall be responsible to facilitate, prepare, develop, amend, update, publish and enforce all community rules.
Within.
Yes.
Within
Yes,
the
sir.
Yeah. So have you done that?
We have actually prepared the community declaration. So now it's at the final stage. We'll declare that maybe that goes to the second quarter, sir. Second quarter.
So what happens? An investor and his family and all those live within will sign a charter.
Yeah.
And they will be abide by that set of charter. Okay.
Yes.
Then the Commission shall submit to the President or in the event subject minister an annual progress report setting out the progress on the implementation of the master plan. Now the question is, have you done that for last year?
So first 6 months we have done. Then now we've completed the second 1 year. So we'll submit it. Now we are preparing it.
නෑ ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් මේක මේ 2022 වර්ෂයටද
2022ට තමයි submit කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. 2021 first 6 months we had, and anyway we all, every month we update it. So we have that report with us.
Dr. Priya, there I would like to see what I have seen in our parliament. Some state-owned bodies are giving their annual report after 5 years.
We don't want to do that.
Yeah, so you are right now okay, but when you get busy and then there are documents that are pending from other departments and other bodies, you will say, so therefore I would say you also bring for your own internal discipline that within the second quarter of the following year you will submit this. By law you are, then you can, down operation you can push that.
Actually we have a chronological order from day one. Every month we update.
Right.
So the activities we do, so then we can extract easily from that 10.
Okay.
Right. So
I
in
can share that even if you want.
661G මේ ප්‍රශ්න ඉස්සර උත්තර ලැබුණෙත් නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔන්ලයින් එකෙන් තමයි ඇප්ලිකේෂන් දාන්න ඕනේ කියලා. දැන් ඔන්ලයින් නැත්නම් ඩොකියුමන්ට්ස් අතින් බාර දෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා.
There's an email.
දැන් ඒකේ how will the commission act as a single window facilitator through an online presence? Have they developed a system? The system archives the information applications for purpose of digital record keeping and for reference purposes.
The system actually is ready, sir. I think if you, I think you got the link. We have not published it because of certain. We need to get the approval for the forms and all to go ahead with the dynamics. Statics, it's all now up. Dynamics, we will push in after we get the clearance.
දැන් මේකනේ මේ රෙගුලාසිටි ටික අද මෙතනින් approve වුණොතින් කෙලිම පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට ගිහිල්ලා ඊළඟ කලිම දවසේ ඒක මේ සම්මත වුණායින් පස්සේ එතකොට ඒක මේ නීති අනුකූල වෙනවා.
Even sir, today we can log then show you. We can log.
එතකොට දැන් එතකොට එහෙනම්
Statically can launch කරන්න
because we cannot launch. We have already launched the.
හරි.
හේතුව නිකන් වැරදි අදහසක් සමාජගත වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඔයගොල්ලන් වෙබ්සයිට් එකක් මේක
No, it's all ready since last.
No. අපි දන්නවා ඒක. You are doing a good job. නමුත් ඒක ගැන කියන්න. ඒකට හේතුව අද මේ traditional media වලින් එහාට ගිහිල්ලානේ මේ සමහර කාරණා පිළිබඳ වැරදි පතුරන්නේ. So at least you communicate in such a way that everything is ready, that you are waiting for the right time.
දැන් මෙහෙමයි
I must confess, because I was at the last meeting and I attended to this commission throughout this committee. Last time when we sat here, maybe since you two were not here, the information that was coming were erroneous.
True.
So therefore our response was also not friendly to you all, because we went on the data that we got. I must confess that we are not enemies to you, neither we are relatives to you. So let us do a professional job. That is my plea all the time.
Thank you.
හරි ඊළඟ එකට යන්න 6J What is the capacity of expertise of the Commission to develop and approve environmental standards and execute environmental improvements? Develop and approve environmental
So
standards.
we have a consultant who's capable of doing that. We don't do anything, sir. We take all consultants with the capabilities.
ඉතින් ඕකට දැන් environmental standard හදන රජයේ environment CA එක තියනව නේද?
CA මේකේ law එකේ හැටියට sir මේකට වැටෙන්නේ coast conservation department, sir, because we are within that zone.
ඉතින් ඇයි ඉතින් coast conservation එකත් එක්ක වැඩ කරන්න බැරි?
So we wanted to have, sir, international standard level sustainable policy, so that is why we work with the consultant.
So shouldn't you
we will
also
definitely
include-
we need to submit after that to the
මං කියන්නේ coast conservation එකත් සම්බන්ධ කරගත යුතු නැද්ද?
definitely, sir. After we prepare that, we'll submit it to them and we'll work together with them, sir.
Right. Then 6A පොඩක් ඉන්න 6M
ගරු සභාපතිතුමා දැන් එතන පොඩි ගැටලුවක් අපි අයිඩෙන්ටිෆයි කරා. දැන් ඔයගේ ෆ්‍රීලාන්ස් කන්සල්ටන්ට්ලා ගන්නකොට මේ
It's not freelance, it's paid.
නෑ හරි හරි. ආණ්ඩුවේ ආයතන ලොකු ඊගෝ බැටල් එකක් කරනවා ඊළඟට මේක හොඳ නෑ අරක හොඳ නෑ කිය ඊළඟට පත්තරවල දානවා මෙහෙම එක සල්ලි කෝටි ගාණක් ගෙවලා අපේ මෙච්චර ඒක නිසා ඒ තියෙන ગેප් එකත් ෆිල් කරගන්න වෙනවා මොකද නැත්තම් අපි අයිඩෙන්ටිෆයි කරන ලොකුම ප්‍රශ්නයක් තමයි ඊගෝ එක.
දැන් මන්ත්‍රීතුමා අපි ඇත්තටම coast conservation department එකත් එක්ක session කීපයක්ම තිබ්බා.
That will be the bottleneck.
අපි ඒගොල්ලොත් එක්ක session කීපයක්ම තිබ්බා.
රජයේ නිලධාරීන් අප්ඩේට් වෙලා මේ අපහාස කරනව නෙවෙයි. හැබැයි ඒගොල්ලෝ පිළිගන්න කැමති නැහැ අර දින දැනුම. ඉතින් ඒක නිසා ඒවා සමහරලාට මාස ගණන්
විශ්වවිද්‍යාල සහ කුලක පෙරදිනේ එක්කෙනා කැමති නැහැ මොරටු එක්කෙනා කියන එක අහන්න කොහමද?
මේක ඔෆ් කරලා දාන්න මේක බලන්නේ නැහැ නේද? මේ අරක ඔෆ් කරලා දාන්න.
So
මේ ඊළඟට M
you to combine the work with them, no?
To cooperate and enter into agreements with international financial and business centers, regulators and other bodies, institutions, organizations and persons for the achievement of its objectives and the exercise, performance and discharge of its powers, duties and functions. එතකොට මේ enter into agreements with international finance and business centers, other bodies කිව්වහම organizations. Can you enter into agreements with foreign organizations? What do you mean by that? And මොකක්ද ඒකේ අර්ථය මොකක්ද?
May I?
Yeah, you can.
Yes. So, Chairman, sir, this is when you see in the space of special economic zones, you would have one special economic zone entering into a memorandum of understanding with another international zone. So, for knowledge sharing purposes, to sharing best practices, etc. Because if you read section, and you're on M, am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so it looks at and persons for the achievement of its objectives and exercise performance. So,
ඒක හරි ඒක අපිට තේරෙනවා මේක catch all phrase එකක් තියෙනවානේ institutions organizations and persons කිව්වහම සියලුම දෙනා එක්ක තව රජයක් එක්ක ඇරෙන්න ඕන කෙනෙක් එක්ක agreement එකක් ගහන්න ඕනේ. ඒතකොට රටේ තියෙන නීතිය සමග ඕකේ ගැටුමක් එනවද කියන එකයි අපිට දැනගන්න ඕනේ.
I think, but the yeah, the yes.
Knowledge management.
So that's how the commission looks at it.
නෑ මේක MOU නෙවෙයිනේ මේක agreement කිව්වම shall we ask
I think
yeah this M
Enter,
No, anyway,
subjected to AG officers vetting.
6M
Odd. It's not something that captured the scrutiny of the court, but if you apply the sort of the jus generis rule, it's all financial business centers, regulators, then other bodies means those in that sort of framework. Right? It relates to them. But yes, if we all are going to enter into an agreement, necessarily it will have to come to the Attorney General's department.
You have already a legal person.
we
or-
have
no? So
director legal.
they send the draft to AG office and get an opinion.
Right.
Whether it's contradictory.
then 6A අරකම extension එකක් on the report annual report an annual report on the operations income and expenditure of the commission to be placed before parliament.
That definitely.
ඒක තාම වෙලා නැහැ.
Yes, sir, will come, sir. Then I already
ඒක
sent it to
21
the.
වර්ෂයට
So, 21 මාස 6යි sir තිබුණේ.
නෑ 21 වර්ෂයට පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට ඉදිරිපත් කරාද ඕගොල්ලෝන්ගේ මේ ඇක්ට් එකට අනුව මුදල් වාර්තාව සහ ආදායම් හා වියදම් වාර්තාව කොමිෂන් එකේ නෑ නෑ 21 අවුරුද්දට. ඒකනේ අපි එදා ඇහැව්වේ. දැන් ඒකනේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ කිව්වානේ 21 අවුරුද්දට මේ ඔඩිට් එක තාම ඉවර නෑ කියලා.
Yes, we finished the audit and we have sent the audited accounts to the relevant ministry.
දැන් ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඒකනේ එදා ගත්ත ප්‍රශ්නේ. මාස 13ක් තිස්සේ ඔඩිට් එක ඉවර නෑ කියලා. එදා ඔයගොල්ලෝ ප්‍රශ්න ගොඩක් කිව්වානේ. BDOද මොකද ඒක ආයතනය ඒක කරේ නෑ කියලා. දැන් අපි ඒකේ සභාපතිතුමාට එන්න කිව්වානේ. දැන් ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නවානේ අපේ මාජන බැංකුවේ සභාපතිතුමා, BDO එකේ සභාපතිතුමා. දැන් ප්‍රශ්නේ ඉවරද?
Yeah, so it has been audited and signed off also. Now it has been sent to the president and the minister.
I mean,
Chairperson, lessons learned. Why did it get delayed so much?
Actually, can I'm the auditor.
Yes.
Now, what happened was we were appointed somewhere in March, and there were a lot of clarifications that both parties have been asking, especially from the Institute of Chartered Accountants also, which took about 4 months at least, because the land ownership and things like that. And in the meantime, my firm has been in constant touch with the Auditor General's department, Deputy Auditor General called one Mr. Vimal Ratna. It took little longer time, but anyway, now we from our side, there was no delay at all. So that we finalized, and then we submitted whenever, because we were supposed to have the final accounts for us to do a perfect audit.
නෑ ඒක තමයි අපි එදා කියපු දේ නැවතත් කියන්නේ. හරි දැන් මේක එච්චර හොඳ දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. හරි ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ ඔඩිට් එක දැන් මාස 13ක් පරක්කුවේ. එතකොට කවදාද පාර්ලිමේන්තුව මේ ඕගොල්ලෝ මේ පනතේ තියෙනවා පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට මේක වහාම ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න ඕන කියලා. එතකොට පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට ඉදිරිපත් කරන්නේ කවදාද කියලා අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන්.
Mr. Chairman, if I can respond.
Mr. Mueller, yeah.
The delay was because of how to treat land. Now that problem has been solved with the 21st year audit. For 22 December year-end audit, I don't believe we'll have any delay at all. We can even give the accounts. My request to the team is that by 4 months after the year-end, the audit accounts will be done and dusted.
So tell us, we are parliament, right? You are supposed to submit this to us.
Yeah.
What was the issue with the land?
No, there is a complication. If you give me a minute to explain.
Yes, please.
There is a land which has been reclaimed by a project company and given to the government free of charge, and the government has vested that with the commission. And then in that land there is certain plots, 44 plots, which has been given on a 99-year lease arrangement to enable the project company to monetize that. So the question was, at what value do you account for the land in the books? Because now that the government has vested the land in the commission, it has to sit in the commission books. The project company has spent, as of December 2021, 1 billion rupees. Now it's gone up to 1.2, right? $1 billion, sorry, $1 billion. Now it's gone to 1.2. But as of December, 1 billion. The question was, what figure do we put into the commission books and give credit to the government for the amount of 1 billion? Yeah. Now the question was, because 44 plots were assigned to the project company to monetize.
What's the extent of the 44 plots?
116 hectares. 116 hectares.
So therefore, under IFRS, we took the right of benefit that they can get. We eliminated that and took the balance portion, which was some 63% value, to the books of commission. So commission officially can monetize from its own plots that it has, that balance part, because the 44 plots monetization will go, or the economic benefits will go to the project company. So that was the confusion. When they wrote to the institute said, look, it has to be commission has to take a decision.
Yeah.
So when I got involved in the commission, then after that I sat with them and we went through, we had a meeting with the auditors, BDO as well, and we clarified, and now we have cleared that problem. That problem shouldn't arise anymore. All which will happen in 2022 is that $1 billion and $59 now will go to 1.2 billion, because now they spent another 150 million. So that will be all that is done, because the accounting is now clear. There is no more clarity to be obtained, and the AG also has accepted the treatment. So
the valuation.
I don't see any delay in the 22 accounts. I am confident that within 4 months we should be able to give the accounts audited to the minister.
හරි දැන් එතකොට මගේ ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ කලින් සඳහන් වුණා මේකේ ආරම්භක ප්‍රාග්ධනය කියන්නේ රජයට අයිති සම්පූර්ණ මේ ඉඩමේ වටිනාකම
Yes,
කියලා.
yes.
දැන් ඔබතුමා කිව්වා ඒකෙන් 100ට හෙක්ටයාර් 268න් හෙක්ටයාර් 169ක් ඔවුන්ට මොනිටයිස් කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා.
That's right.
ඒ කියන්නේ සින්නක්කර ඔප්පුවට විකුණන්නත් පුළුවන්ද මේක?
Only
අවුරුදු
lease right.
99ට
Arudu Anuna lease, they have a master lease for 99 years, sir. So they can lease.
Renew the lease.
දැන් අපි හිතමු මේකේ බිල්ඩිමක් හැදුවා කියලා ඇපාර්ට්මන්ට් එකක්. ඒතර ඇපාර්ට්මන්ට් එක ෆ්‍රී හෝල්ඩ් ලීස් ෆ්‍රී හෝල්ඩ් විකුණන්න පුළුවන්ද?
So what happens if a different investor comes in? The primary investor has to give that lease back to us. Then we'll sign a new lease with the new investor. So if it is apartment, they can. It's according to the current law.
99 years.
99 years.
From the
It's
second
like in
signature
Dubai.
date.
It's like in Dubai, there are
It's
certain
according to the
apart-
current law, sir. Condominium law applies here, sir. Condominium law.
හරි දැන් හැබැයි දැන් මෙතන තියෙන කන්ඩොමිනියම් ලෝ එක ඇප්ලයි වෙන්නේ මට දන්න විදිහට ඒක පුද්ගලික ඉඩමන්නේ.
No, sir.
දැන් මේක රජයේ ඉඩමක්නේ දැන් කියපු විදිහට මේක 100% රජයට අයිතිනේ මේ අකර හෙක්ටයාර් 269.
So this law applies to UDA lands as well. When
Okay.
UDA leases it to someone else,
Okay.
they can build an apartment and sell.
එතකොට රජයට තියෙන
Then they have to pay the
මේ
value of the outright.
එතකොට දැන් මේ අයිතිය යම්කිසි අඩුවීමක් තියනවද? දැන් නැත්නම් ඒක ඒ විදිහටම පවතිනවද දිගටම? මේක 99 වසරකට ලීස් එකක් දීපු නිසා
Lease ගියොත් sir ඔක්කොම lease වලින් යනවා. හැබැයි apartment ගියොත් sir according to the current law you can get the ownership.
වැලියු එක ගන්නන්නේ වැලියු එක.
කැපිටල් එක ඉරෝඩ් වෙනවද?
Capital එක තියෙන sir yeah sometimes yes. Capital erode වෙනවා.
කැපිටල් එක ඉරෝඩ් වෙනවනේ.
But එතකොට sir monetize වෙලානේ sir එතන.
ඔව් මොනිටයිස් වෙලා හැබැයි කැපිටල් එක අපිට තියෙන ඉඩම විතරනේ වෙන මොකුත්
වෙන
නැහැ.
මොකුත් නැහැ sir. ඒ ඔක්කොම යන්නේ UDA same model UDA එක යන්නේ ඒකම තමයි.
If I may explain the accounting, see once you bring that 63% is the land in your books, and let's say that somebody builds an apartment under UDA law, you do it. What we have done is some of the land will go out, and then we get revenue that has come in, and the surplus will go into reserve. So it's the asset getting converted into revenues and going to reserve in the balance sheet. So, and we also did one more check under IFRS. We saw what was the value of the land because we had to do an impairment test. The valuation that we have got for our portion is $2.6 million. So there is no need to impair. So it is we have put it at
2.6 million.
billion. That is the value because we had to do an impairment test assessment to see
Yeah.
whether the value we have put in the books is adequate. Our value is much lower than what the market value is. So at any time we can always revalue the land at any time.
So what is the market value of the 269 hectares, Mr. Mueller?
If you
According to
take,
this, about 4 billion.
it's about 4 billion.
4 billion.
According to this,
That is
about
the
4
value. If you take the what we did the valuation of the two,
So
what
4
the government
billion.
portion.
Okay, 4 billion. So I'm just asking a question because I do not know. What is the value of this land as it now
If
stands?
you take market value, 4 billion. But
But
for
without any
accounting-
buildings, just the land.
Without
just the
buildings,
land.
without buildings.
4 billion.
$4 billion.
Dollars.
But accounting, we use the cost convention, so we only.
එතකොට
look at the
පර්ච්
cost
එකක්
income.
කීයද වැටෙන්නේ?
Oh, you have to divide by
පර්ච් එකක් බලන්න කීයද වැටෙන්නේ කියලා?
Because part of the land, Mr. Chairman, is for the government owned, also includes parks and the common things. So
Non-commercial,
they are not
non-commercial land.
marketable. So
Sell 'em.
for the government has I think 27 plots which are marketable. The Port
28
City has
plots. 28 plots
and
government
the Port City
can
has
sell.
44.
නෑ ඉතින්
46.
මෙතන දැන් මේ පාක් තියෙනකොට මේකේ අගේ වැඩි වෙනවනේ
ඔව්.
කොහොමද? පාක් නැත්තම් අගේ අඩු වෙනවනේ.
Absolutely.
හරි එතකොට එතකොට ඇවරේජ් එක මොකක් හරි ඕකට
Easily.
ඇඩ්ජස්ට් කරන්න පුළුවන්.
We
Yes,
can
sir.
easily.
දැන් රෆ්ලි කීයද එන්නේ? ඕක 4000 රුපියල්
About
ඩොලර් මිලියන් 4000
$4,000 per square meter like
පර්ච් වලින් අපි ගණන් හදන්නේ කොටුවේ.
If you divide
ඇතුලේ meters වලින්
Two-
square meters
you
වලින්.
divide,
latest is.
නෑ අපිට දැනගන්න ඕනේ පර්ච්
divide
එක
4 billion by 269 divided by 116 to 4. You have the calculator. You can.
have a calculator.
If you say how many purchase in a
නෑ හෙක්ටයාර එකක් කියන්නේ අක්කර 2.6යිනේ.
Purchase 400ක්
ඊට
sir.
පස්සේ
Purchase
අක්කර එක
400ක්.
තියෙනවානේ පර්චස් 160ක්.
Purchase 400ක් sir හෙක්ටාර එකක් කියන්නේ.
160
ඒක
purchase.
බෙදන්න කොට අක්කලා 370 වැඩි කරලා.
I have a calculator. Okay. I'll do the calculation.
කවුරු හරි මට කියන්න.
Accountant, come and rescue
I'll
us.
do the calculation.
We'll see what it is.
Yeah.
Divide
Right.
I think
My estimate is about 20 million.
golden mile lake.
So it's come around 37,000
USDs.
USDs.
37,000.
නෑ නෑ අපේ මට දැනගන්න ඕනේ සිම්පල්
Perch එක.
පර්ච් එකක් රුපියල් කීයද ඕකේ?
37,000 into 380.
ඒ ගාන හදලා කියන්නකො කවුරු හරි පර්ච් එකක් කීයද ඕකේ?
දැන් මේකයි මම හිතන්නේ I had to leave now. chairman ගේ question එකේ ව්‍යංගාර්ථය
13.7 million.
Come again? Sorry.
13.7 million.
Oh, the chairman ගේ ප්‍රශ්නේ ව්‍යංගාර්ථය මේකයි. golden mile එකේ මේකට අයිති නැති ඉඩමක වටිනාකමට වඩා මේ ඇතුලේ තියෙන ඉඩමේ වටිනාකම වැඩිද අඩුද කියන තමයි මේ අහන්නේ.
හැබැයි මේ සර් අරන් තියෙන්නේ public areas උත් එක්කම අරගෙන වැලියු.
හරි ඒ කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍ය
13.7.
කොටුවේ පර්ච් එකක් කීයද?
ඒක තමයි අහන්නේ golden mile එකේ කොටුවේ
20 million.
නෑ ඊට වැඩි ඇති.
Sir 2025 sir.
25 million කියමු. කොටුවේ පර්ච් එකක් 25 million මෙතන 13 million.
13.7.
150ක ඩිස්කවුන්ට් එකක් තියෙනවා.
Have I sir, this is average, but when it comes to actual lot, it's about 30, like 25, 30.
දැන් ලංකාවේ ඕන පුද්ගලයෙක්ට ලංකාවේ පුරවැසියට මේක ඉඩම් ගන්න පුළුවන්.
පුළුවන් sir, රුපියල් වලින් ගන්න පුළුවන්.
රුපියල් වලින් ගන්න පුළුවන්.
පුළුවන්. Only for the land purchase they can sell.
ඩොලර් වලින් නෑ මම කියන්නේ මේ මට ගන්න නෙමෙයි මං අහන්නේ මම කොහෙ ගන්නද මෙව්වා. හරි මේ මම අහන්නේ එතකොට දැන් ඔයගේ ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් එක කීයද ඔරිජිනල් ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් එක?
$1.4 billion.
$1.4 billion තමයි දැන් $4 billion වෙලා තියෙන්නේ.
Yes.
ඒ ඔක්කොම ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් එක කරේ චයිනා
හාබර් අපිට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ
ඉන්වෙස්ට් එන්ජිනියරින් කෝපරේෂන්.
Yes sir.
එතකොට ඒකෙන් තමයි ඕගොල්ලෝ මේ ඕගොල්ලොන්ට ඒක දුන්නාට ආණ්ඩුවට දුන්නාට කමිෂන් එකට දෙනවනේ 140 ගානක් නේ.
Yes sir.
ඒවා ඕගොල්ලෝ ලීස් කරලා ඒකෙන් මේ රෙන්ටල් ඉන්කම් එකක් ගන්නවා.
ඔව් sir.
එතකොට මේ පෝර්ට් සිටි කම්පැනියට මේ ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් එක ගොඩක් ප්‍රොෆිටබල්ද?
මං හිතන්නේ sir now it's profitable because of the land prices has jack up now it's profitable sir.
දැන් එතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ මේකෙන් තවදුරටත් ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට්ස් කරනවද?
ඒගොල්ලෝ ඇග්‍රි වෙලා තියෙනවා sir කරන්න. දැන්ටමත් ඇත්තටම CIFC ගත්තොත් ඒකේ ෂෙයා හෝල්ඩර් කෙනෙක් ඒගොල්ලෝ.
හරි එහෙනම් අපි ඉක්මනට ඉතුරු ටික යන් අනිත් එක ඕකේ රයිට්.
Required at the election expenditure bill meeting with the minister.
Please go ahead.
If I'm sorry.
Yeah, make sure that the elections don't get postponed because of that. We want to have the elections next month.
Just before I go on that, the penalties, regulation 31, somebody had raised a question about the commission having the discretion to set the fee. So I think, no, it says may think proper in composition of the offence, 31, but I was heard to say, somebody was heard to say that regulations are being made in that effect. So then this regulation should cross-refer that instead of saying...
Yeah, එහෙම තමයි. That we refer that. Yeah.
This has to change. That's what I just wanted to make a note of that. It says commission may think proper in composition of the offence, but it must say but commission has decided in terms of that regulation.
Right.
That's all I want to say.
Okay, noted. Then this thing about FA and GA. Manage the fund of the commission, make investments, operate, maintain bank accounts, etc., and to approve and manage an annual budget for the commission. So that you all are doing.
That we have done.
So you have a budget and that's how you operate.
Yes.
Then GA, to regulate gaming activities within the area of authority of the Colombo Port City and we are required to make regulations for the management of such activities.
So we have done the draft, we are going through it, sir.
What?
Gaming.
පොඩකිනකෝ. දැන් මේ ඔබතුමා කියන්නේ ඔය පෝර්ට් සිටි එකේ කැසිනෝ වල රෙගියුලේෂන් ඔබතුමාද හදන්නේ?
අපේ පැත්තෙන් ඩ්‍රාෆ්ට් කරලා තියෙනවා සර්.
Why don't you talk about how it is done?
පොඩක් ඉන්න. දැන් මෙතන දැන් කැසිනෝ රෙගියුලේෂන් එකක් ගොඩබිමේ කැසිනෝ රෙගියුලේෂන් කරන්න රෙගියුලේටර් කෙනෙක් නැහැ. දැන් අපි අපෙන් ඇවිල්ලා
Answer that properly.
පොඩක් ඉන්න මම මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ අහනකම් ඉන්න. ගොඩබිමේ මේ කැසිනෝ රෙගියුලේට් කරන්න රෙගියුලේටර් කෙනෙක් නැතුව ලයිසන් දෙන්න කියලා මේ කමිටුවෙන් ඉල්ලුවා. අපි ඒක දුන්නේ නැහැ. අවසානයේදී අපි එකඟ වුණා මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශය එකඟ වුණා මේ අවුරුද්දේ සැප්තැම්බර් මාසේ 30 වෙනිදා වෙනකොට කැසිනෝ නියාමන කොමිසම ස්ථාපනය කරලා ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනවා කියලා. ඒක මොනිටර් කරන්න අනු කමිටුවක් පත් කළා තියෙනවා. දැනටමත් මම හිතන්නේ මේ ඒක අද සාකච්ඡා කරන්න හිටිය එන සතියේට පෝස්ට්පෝන් වෙලා තියෙනවා. මේ කොච්චර දුරට ඒක ඉස්සරහට ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවද කියලා. එතකොට ලංකාවේ කසිනෝ නියාමනය කරන්න එක නීතියකුත් ඕගොල්ලොන්ගේ කසිනෝ නියාමනය කරන්න ඕගොල්ලෝ හදන නීතියකුත් තියාගන්න එක හරිද?
Draft regulation we've got from US, and this is what we are trying to do is to localize to the Sri Lankan law. That is what is presently being done. And yes.
That's not a acceptable answer, no? Then ඕගොල්ලෝ තනියෙන් ගිහිලා රෙගුලේටර් කෙනෙක් හදන්න බෑනේ. කවුද ඒතොර රෙගුලේටර්? ඔය කමිෂන් එකද කැසිනෝ රෙගුලේට් කරන්නේ?
Act එකේ තියෙන්නේ we can't delegate our authority, sir.
No. Act එකේ තියෙන්නේ
Commission.
Yes, commission, sir.
නැති සභාපතිතුමා දැන් ඔබතුමාද කැසිනෝ එකේ රෙගුලේටර් වෙන්නද කොහොමද?
According to the act, yes.
Process.
නෑ මෙහෙමනේ දැන් මට කියන්නකෝ කවුද ප්‍රෙසිඩන්ට්ස් ගන්නෙ? දැන් අපි හිතමු දැන් මම ඒකට එනවා. දැන් කවුරු හරි ලයිසන් එකක් ඉල්ලනවා ඔෆ්ෂෝර් බැංකින් ලයිසන් එකක් ඉල්ලනවා. පොඩක් ඉන්න මේ අධ්‍යක්ෂ ජෙනරාල්තුමා එතකොට කවුරු හරි ඔෆ්ෂෝර් බැංකින් ලයිසන් එකක් ඉල්ලුවොත් ඕගොල්ලෝ සිංගල් වින්ඩෝ එකේ යටතේ ඒක බාර ගන්නවා. බාර අරගෙන ටික කාලෙකින් ඉන් ප්‍රින්සිපල් අප්‍රූවල් එකක් දෙනවා. හැබැයි ඔෆ්ෂෝර් බැංකින් රෙගුලේට් කරන්න මහ බැංකුවේ මේ රෙගුලේටරි ඩිපාර්ට්මන්ට් එකක් තියෙනවා. එතකොට මට මේක අහන්න තිබිච්ච තව කාරණාවක් තමයි concurrence/approval. එහෙම නැතිනේ. decision කියලා මේ ගැසට් එකේ තියෙනවා. එතන ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ කවුද මූලික නියාමනය කරන්නේ මූලිකව මේ offshore banking? ඔබතුමාද එහෙමත් නැත්නම් මා බැංකුව?
Revan, answer that.
So the rules for banking and banking specifically under part 8 of this act are not yet drafted. We have shared drafts with the central bank, the monetary board, and they are being discussed on how to do the regulatory framework and how to do the monitoring of the financial institutions.
එහෙමනම් අපිට ඇවිල්ලා කියන්න එපා ඕගොල්ලෝ මේ කැසිනෝ රෙගුලේටර් එකක් හදනවා කියලා. මොකද ඕගොල්ලොන්ගේ නෙමෙයි දැන් මට තව එකක් කියන්න සභාපතිතුමා ඇයි concurrence/decision කියලා තියෙන ගැසට් එකේ concurrence කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? කොතනද මොකක්ද section? Section 6 in the gazette or the act?
Yeah.
Section 6 number what? මේකේ තියෙන section 6 හරි in the event ඔහොම ගිහිල්ලා together with the letter of approval in principle and terms of regulation 5 to the relevant regulatory authority for its concurrence/decision. So එතන මේ ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ concurrence කියන්නේ මට තේරෙන විදිහට නම් මම තීරණයක් ගන්නවා ඊට පස්සේ මම සභාපතිතුමාගෙන් අහනවා ඔබතුමා එකඟද කියලා. එතකොට එතුමා එකඟයි කිව්වොත් concurrence. decision කියන්නේ මම තීරණයක් ගන්නවා සභාපතිතුමාගෙන් අහනවා එතුමාට එකඟ වෙන්න එක මේ අවස්ථාවක් නැහැ. direction කියන එක මට පේන විදිහට hierarchy එකේ උඩ තියෙන එක. direction decision කිව්වහම concurrence එකට වඩා ගැඹුරු දෙයක්. එහෙම නෙමෙයිද? හරි එතකොට concurrence කියන එකයි/decision කියන එකයි මෙතන දාන්නේ ඇයි කියන ප්‍රශ්නේ පැන නගිනවා. ඒත් එක්කම ඔය ඔබතුමිය කියන ප්‍රශ්නේ මෙතනට ලොකු මේ අර්බුදයක් එනවා.
සර් පනතේ හැටියට ගේමින් ඇක්ට් එක එක්සෙම් කරලා තියෙන්නේ. දැන්ට අපේ තියෙන ගේමින් ඇක්ට් එක එක්ස්ටෙම් කරලා තියෙන්නේ පෝට් සිටි කමිෂන් එක. එතකොට අපි තමයි ඒකට රෙගුලේෂන් එකක් දාන්න ඕන සර්.
නෑ ඕගොල්ලෝ කොහොමද ඒකට රෙගුලේෂන් එකක් දාන්නේ?
සර් පනතේ හැටියට එහෙමයි තියෙන්නේ සර්.
ඉතින් එහෙම කරන්න බෑනේ. ඒතකොට ඕගොල්ලෝ එහෙමනම් කැසිනෝ රෙගුලේටර් කෙනෙක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඕගොල්ලොන්ගේ ප්‍රයිමරි ජොබ් එක කැසිනෝ රෙගුලේට් කරන එක නෙමෙයිනේ.
නමුත් ඒ වුණාට සර් පනතේ දීලා තියෙන්නේ එහෙමයි සර්.
නෑ පනතේ තියෙන දැනට මේ ලංකාවේ තියෙන කැසිනෝ එකක්වත් රෙගියුලේට් වෙන්නේ නෑනේ. අද ලංකාවේ මේ
betting and gaming regulation
ඒව නෑනේ කොහොමද තියෙන්නේ පෙන්නන්න. schedule 2 නෑ මට කියන්න කෝ gaming and betting regulation කෝ regulator කෙනෙක් කෝ ලංකාවේ ඒක තමයි කියන්නේ regulator කෙනෙක් නැතුව regulate කරන්න බෑනේ. එතකොට නෑ ඕගොල්ලෝ මෙහෙමයි ඔබතුමා මේක ලේකම්තුමා මේක සීරියස් මැටර් එකක්. හරි ඒකට ඕගොල්ලොන් මේක බාර ගන්නවා කියන්නේ මහා භාරදූර කාර්යයක්. එතකොට කමිෂන් මෙම්බර්ස්ලාට තියෙනවා නම් රෙගියුලේට් කරන්න සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම කොන්කරන්ස් එකක් හරි ඩිසිෂන් එකක් හරි වෙන කාගෙන් හරි ගන්නේ නැතුව මොකද රෙගියුලේටර් කෙනෙක් දැන් නැහැනේ. එතකොට කොන්කරන්ස් ගන්න කෙනෙකුත් නැහැනේ. ඕගොල්ලෝ රෙගියුලේෂන් හැදුවොත් ආණ්ඩුව රෙගියුලේෂන් හදන්න කලින් කොන්කරන්ස් කෙනෙක් නැහැ. රෙගියුලේටර් කෙනෙක් නැහැ.
We'll look into that, sir.
Then look into that කියලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ. I mean I think the AG's person went at the wrong time.
We'll have a chat with Admin General, sir, on that.
Finance Ministry එකේ ඒ casino regulation ගැන කෙනෙක් කවුරු මෙතන ඇවිල්ලා නැහැනේ.
So Chairman, whatever we draft has to go through several lines of approval.
Huh?
Whatever we draft here has to go through several lines of approval before it comes to you. So Finance Ministry actually will address a lot of these issues before they clear anything.
No, I mean this is a special one. No, regulate gaming activities within the port of your authority.
So still is work in progress.
We have yeah.
See, my advice to you is don't try to reinvent the wheel, right? Because already under the directions of the president, and he asked us also for assistance in that matter, and we have a subcommittee working on it. The Ministry of Finance has started working on the regulations for casinos and gaming. So why don't you work with them instead of not? Why don't you?
That's fine, sir. That's fine. Totally fine, sir. We can work with them.
So we will direct you. We will direct you to immediately get in touch with the Ministry of Finance and become a part of that team, and perhaps become a member of the subcommittee of this group also through the Committee on Public Finance, so that we can have one acceptable piece of legislation.
That's fine, sir.
Yes. Yes.
He's a member of our commission, sir.
Yes. In fact, we told him there is no necessity for him to be present today. He's inundated with a lot of work. The man is working 24/7, so we didn't want to tax him further. Right. Then, so that's resolved then. Huh?
Yes.
So that direction holds. That they will have to work with the Minister of Finance on this one. Then. 10 quorum audit. Now we have discussed accountants to the commission shall be audited annually by qualified auditor in terms of article 154. All that we have now resolved.
Yes.
Financial statement compliance with international IFRS standard. Commission may delegate such powers, duties, functions under this act. Commission may determine either to the Director General or any officer of the Commission or any person holding position responsible employed by the Commission and the Director General. Now, there is no Director General, no?
He's only acting.
Yeah. So when are you planning on recruiting a permanent Director General, Mr. Chairman?
So we would have recruited somebody maybe 3 months ago, but we decided to postpone it. So I think in the first quarter or the second quarter we will actually get somebody appointed. And Mr. Chairman, for the record, the 21 accounts have been audited and cleared by the Auditor General. I'm saying this because we have about 2 million investments in the pipeline, and there was a bit of concern among them also.
Yes.
So I'm reiterating.
I mean, we are very happy. We are extremely happy that we were able to help you, have the website live and also the audit completed within a week. So we are very happy. So it's a win-win. No, it's no problem. You also share this, the fruits of the success, and let us also rejoice. Right. Then in 25, yeah, because the issue last time was, Mr. Chairman, you are in charge, not the Director General, right? The powers, duties and functions of the Director General shall be to recommend various things. That's all he has the power to. It is the Commission that formulates these regulations. So that is the reason precisely. So that is the reason that the Commission has to be here. Because the Director General, as ex officio Commission member, he has to be, that's a separate matter. But it is you who's got the authority to do it, not the Director General per se. Application of registration licensing, right? Every application shall specify the total value of the proposed foreign direct investment, all that included in the application form, right? No foreign currency deposits in an account maintained or operated in Sri Lanka can be used, cannot be used. So is that a good thing?
So given the crisis we are in, I think maybe something that we can revisit later.
Fresh infusion of dollars.
I mean, what is your fundamental argument for excluding people, who are big investors, are prohibited from utilizing profits they generate from other business activity, like some of you very successful business people who are sitting in this commission, in investing in the port city.
So that's a policy decision, maybe the investment.
We don't see any issues, sir, but according to the Act, even though we like
Act is,
we need
this was brought in later, no?
Yeah.
In the original Act, there was no such thing. This was brought in to address the crisis.
Yes.
But I don't think you need to legislate something like this, because the crisis, we all hope, is a temporary thing. So why do you find a solution to a crisis and then legislate it as a permanent thing? I mean, why don't you do it off the legislation?
So, Mr. Chairman, we have done a analysis of the Act also, so that is one of the recommendations that I have in mind.
Oh, what I suggested now?
Yeah.
So we are thinking alike on that one.
So that's
What do the other commissioners think? I mean, our job is not just to ask you questions and approve this, but also to
Chairman,
constructively bring in our own views. Yes.
I suggest that while we are working, around the Act to make it as best as we could, but the Act also restrains certain ease of doing businesses. So shall we also work separately, changing the Act or improving the Act, so that what we are going to bake would be a world-class thing. But every time we bring this up in the Commission, it says, changing the Act will be an impossible thing, it'll have to go to Parliament, and all sorts of stuff comes in. So then we step back and try to work within the Act, but then that's not going to
I endorse Mr. Kodituaku's sort of suggestion. I think it is good, because there is no restriction in amending something if it's going to get better, right? If you can make it better.
So
right?
ENY has done it, and they have come up with certain Act amendment points as well. So we'll put this also into that and do a good.
But there has to be some logical reason.
Yeah.
Right? Logical reason. So let's do that. We are here to help you, and do call upon us we can certainly take it up. We can certainly take it up. And anyway, your minister is the president, right?
Yes.
Right? He's inundated with many things. And we can help you resolve this, because I think there are certain amendments that need to be brought into this Act. This Act has certain shortcomings in our view. Right, so that is one.
Yes, we'll do. We'll take it up.
Yeah, because you can't do it, no, it has to be the ministry. Right, so we will make that recommendation. The Commission shall obtain concurrence of any relevant regulatory authority in process of granting such registration, license, authorization, and other approval, where so required by the representative written laws applicable to such authority in respect of the subject vested in or assigned to such authority and to extent specifically provided for in this Act. So this is the issue. Now in your gazette it says concurrence or direction. So I think this is beyond my sort of authority in this committee, because it is who takes precedence. I don't know why you said concurrence / direction here when it says concurrence here. But if it says concurrence here, it has to be the same thing here. But in any case, this is stronger than this. Your head of legal, what is your position on that?
I think what is this? We are also tying up with other regulatory authorities that are defined in the Act, like the Register of Companies, immigration, emigration. This may be pertaining to that, but let me look at this more closely.
Don't bite more than you can chew. Huh? I mean, you can't be the immigration regulator, the casino regulator, the financial regulator. Do you have the capabilities? Do you have the people? Do you have the expertise? I mean, how much can you do? You have a voluntary board. You don't have a director general. How many staff do you have?
11.
Huh?
11.
11 people can't do. One person is central bank, the other person is the gaming regulator. Come on, be reasonable. Undertake what you can deliver. Don't undertake things you cannot deliver. So don't overpromise, underpromise. Right? So looks like you all are just saying, give it, we'll do it. But you don't have the capacity.
No, we work with the other regulators.
So that is the point.
Yes.
So other regulators are established by law.
That's right.
And they have been around and have been regulating domestic business for yonks. Right? So it is for you. So who finally gives the license? Offshore banking license. Who gives the license?
So, Chairman, sir, again, we are not in any way trying to say we are the regulator of everything, right? So specifically for banking, right, the rules and regulations will be proposed and passed in consultation between the Finance Ministry and the Monetary Board, right? So that is as per the Act. We are in consultation with the working committee established by the Monetary Board within the Central Bank, and that's the Deputy Governor is chairperson of that working committee, to look at and devise a structure that actually works to develop a financial center within the Colombo Port City. So that would come in.
No, Mr. Vikramasuriya, that's not my question. My question is who's got the authority under the law? Right, you're exempted from bunch of existing laws, correct? Now, even after those exemptions, now my simple question is an example that, for instance, if somebody wants to have a offshore banking license, who is going to give that license?
The Finance Ministry in consultation with the Monetary Board as per Part 8 of the Act.
Yeah, so that means it is, what is your job? To coordinate.
Coordinate, sir.
Right, but then why are you saying in this gazette you have to get concurrence? Where is that? 6. It doesn't say right? Read that, please.
Do you know?
Because it's the most crucial one.
Chairman, sir, do you mind referring the section,
yeah,
sir?
It is Gazette Part 1, Section 6. Right, so shall I read it? In the event the applicant requires a regulatory registration, license, authorization, and no other approval from a regulatory authority, okay, in terms of the application, in terms of the applicable written laws, okay, to engage in any business in, to invest in, to reside in, or to be employed in the area of authority of the Colombo Port City, The applicant shall submit the relevant application for such registration, license, authorization, and no other approval as prescribed in the applicable written law to the Commission as a single window investment facilitator. Okay, no? The Commission shall forward the application together with the letter of approval in principle in terms of Regulation 5F to the relevant regulatory authority for its concurrence/decision. So all what you are doing is you're a post box.
Yes.
Right? You just collect it and
Info.
give it. And the written law has regulations which specifies A, B, C, and D. So therefore, you are getting concurrence, meaning for your principal acceptance in principle, approval in principle, but the decision is ultimately theirs.
Yes, yes.
So that is why there is no provision for you to set up a regulatory body. You
We
are
are
only a post office.
We are not going to do that, sir.
You know, in terms of the regulations for the gaming and casinos, you said you all are beginning to draft laws for the gaming regulation. So you can't do that. But it doesn't give you the authority to do that.
Draft regulation, we are reviewing it and then we will submit it to the relevant authority.
Who is the relevant authority?
We work with the finance ministry.
Finance ministry is not the regulator for casinos.
So it is not, there is no regulator yet.
Exactly. So you have no business regulating casino regulations. You have no business doing that.
No, that is not what we are.
Yeah, exactly. So don't, yeah, so just
we
let
wouldn't
go.
want to.
Yeah.
We are only drafting it, maybe give the draft, because I think maybe when the act was drafted, there was no gaming regulator even envisaged at that time.
Right,
So maybe
okay.
that's why they exempted it. But we sure don't want to be a regulator. We don't have the capacity.
Law cannot be ad hominem, no.
Yeah.
You know, law cannot be time specific either. Law has to be the same today, tomorrow, and the day after. That is how you build confidence in a legal system.
Absolutely.
Right? And also, the law cannot be like ad hominem, particularly made for a person. So therefore, you know, do what is appropriate. So that's all I have to say here, right? So you are just a post office to get the approval from this thing. It says, to ensure processing of applications made to the Commission is carried out in an expeditious manner, the Commission shall require any relevant regulatory authority to operate an office within the area of authority of the Colombo Port City. Now, who are your main co-conspirators? Wrong word.
Register
Collaborators?
Register companies is one.
Register of companies.
So do they have an office?
They
Not
will
yet,
be
sir.
given once we set up the office one.
So
No, sir,
you are not
no,
going to set up an office in
Sir,
5 years? No,
No, we are already working with them. That is
They
why.
have designated
asking,
people, sir.
I'm asking you what is in the act.
Yes,
It says
on second, no,
they will operate an office
within the
area of the authority of the Colombo Port City.
That's right.
Right. So are they operating an office?
We don't have any infrastructure in the port city.
No, man. So yes, I know
But
that.
they have, sir, designated officials
Officer for the
working.
working.
That is how it's supposed to
Yeah.
work. No, Mr. Director General. Does it work like that? I mean, why was it put in here?
Chairman, I think what we have done in the ROC is now ROC has gone into an EROC, virtual. So we have now doing a link so that approvals can be done simultaneously for the ROC.
Shall I tell you?
Yeah.
Somebody, I called the register of, what is that, intellectual property, IPR. They wanted a logo. You know how long it has taken now? 14 months.
Yeah. That is why we are
14 months, huh?
Yes, I agree.
14 months.
That is where we are trying to get that link done so that we can
So
get
actually, we are
approvals
investing
virtually
about
overnight.
10 million to develop their system as well.
නෑ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ සිස්ටම් ඩෙවලොප්මන්ට් මෙතන තියෙන්නේ සෙන්ට්‍රල් බැංක් ඔෆිසර් කෙනෙක් ඉන්න එපයි.
Oh, ඒකයි.
SEC ඔෆිසර් කෙනෙක් ඉන්න එපයි. ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් බෝඩ් ඔෆිසර් කෙනෙක් රෙගුලේට් ඔය ඔක්කොම රෙගුලේටර්ස් ලාගේ ඔෆිසර් කෙනෙක් ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ තැනක ඉන්න එපයි.
they have so for
ඉතින් ඇයි ඒක කරන්නේ නැත්තේ? ලේකම්තුමාගෙන් මම අහන්නේ.
That's what I'm saying.
Infrastructure,
Yes.
they will come and they'll be out.
So the infrastructure, Mr. Chairman, is when are you getting the infrastructure?
No, so I think as soon as we are live, we'll get them in. Already customs and all are working with us internally.
I mean, we have
We
provided
already
desk
have a
space.
designated
We have
officer, sir.
provided desk space when right now it's not relevant for them to sit here because nothing much is happening, but
Physically.
but
It's
we
all-
have created a space for them to come and sit when the operation starts.
Okay. You know better.
That was designed when we were designing the place. We designed spaces for the relevant parties to come. But right now, our issue is the whole. We haven't finalized what we are giving, so we are not getting enough customers coming in at the moment.
Fine, as long as you have a plan so that it won't get, unnecessarily delayed. That's the whole point.
Yes.
Then in 35, authorized person permitted to engage in business shall be remunerated in a designated foreign currency other than the Sri Lankan rupee. So what are the designated foreign currencies that persons can be remunerated in?
So that's as per the central bank directions on designated foreign currencies, and they have, I think, about 14 currencies, if I'm not
You
mistaken.
can be paid in any of those currencies.
Pretty much.
The resident exempt from income tax shall be deemed to be permissible credit to a person foreign currency account of such resident employee. So they don't have to pay any tax at all. Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah. So if you are working overseas, right? If you are so resident, non-resident clarification is according to the current laws, or is it special for the port city? How do you become a resident for tax purposes?
Sorry, this, the reference to the tax-free status, personal income tax-free status, is an employee of an authorized person. So if an employee of an authorized person, that's a person who receives the license, is paid, and that person would be paid in a designated foreign currency, that income earned is supposedly exempted from income tax as per the CPEC Act.
Employment income of a resident employee.
Yeah.
Resident employee.
Residency apply.
Residency is over the 186 days.
That's correct.
That doesn't apply here because that is for if you are paid in rupees in Sri Lanka. Because in Sri Lanka, you can't be paid in a foreign currency. If I am an employee, I am paid in rupees. So if I am to be non-resident, I must be out of the country for more than 186 days. In the port city, if you are an employee of an authorized person and paid in one of the designated currency, you are exempted from tax.
I don't know, so that's fine. I mean, I see complications arising, but then that's for us to resolve. Because
So that's how we hope to
actually,
attract.
you're living in Dehiwala, and you're working inside the port city. Your neighbors pay 36% tax.
But
You
that
pay no
anomaly
tax.
will be there for that first 5 years till people get in there. But this
I hope
anomaly
the
is there even
government,
in
I
Dubai.
hope you don't let any government organization set up any business there. They will
But this
they will bring all the political catchers and
But this
shove
anomaly
them.
there in Dubai as well, sir. If you are in DIFC, right, and you are working outside, you will have different regulations compared to another Dubai employee. So whenever you have special zone, this problem is there.
Chairman, sir, if I may add, I think. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think if I may add, the objective of the Colombo Port City is not to fill it up with companies that are actually established to do business with the 22 million people in Sri Lanka, right? It is an export-oriented zone that you're looking at. So the idea is to attract people, and the objective is, for example, if a multinational, a shipping multinational or a firm that's based, headquartered in Singapore, right, is doing their regional office and covering business globally, for them to come and establish here. It's not that they come in there and establish themselves there and then start serving the Sri Lankan market.
Of course.
Yeah, so.
I mean, we understand that that's a fundamental
Yeah.
basis for doing this, no? I mean, but we would like to have at least some of our people employed there.
Absolutely possible, and what we hope to achieve here is our people are now going into Singapore or to Dubai and working for that multinational, but we would like that multinational to be based here and then hire them to work in that and serve their global franchise.
Okay, right. Thank you very much. I think we've had a very fruitful discussion. We have no other questions. And we will approve these regulations, so we can, you can, or rather your minister can put it to the House next week and we can approve them. We made some observations. We gave one direction, which is that you should work with the Ministry of Finance on the regulations on casinos. We made some recommendations. We will let you have all those, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Chairman. And I hope this becomes a roaring success. And if there is anything that we can do, we will be more than happy to help you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
This is adjourned. Thanks.